morning and welcome to Lost for Words. I'm Sarah Woods. We are still exploring great women poets, and today we are starting a new poet, and her name is, I don't know if that looks like her or not over there, but Miss Rupi Kaur. I hope I'm saying her name right. I have two of her books. This is Milk and Honey, and this is The Sun and Her Flowers. And I feel like Rupi Kaur is going to be a fun poet to explore. I feel like because she's a tiny bit controversial. Her and her family immigrated from India to Canada, I believe. And I feel like she is sort of famous for being known as an Insta poet. I believe she grew in fame on Instagram, and that's where she got her start with her writing. It's really fascinating. If you look up Rupi Kaur reviews on YouTube and just start exploring like what people think about her poetry, you start to get a very like wide range of people who either like really love it or they really don't like it. And I think it's probably because maybe some people have this idea of poetry. I feel like sometimes people get an idea of poetry as being like a very, very specific type of writing. Like if you're thinking of like Shakespeare and then you encounter Rupi Kaur, she's a completely different, the way she uses words is completely different. So you have some poets out there who are just, I feel like, are very like clever with words, and they like to arrange words in interesting and unique ways. And then I feel like on the other hand, you have people who sort of like need poetry. They need words, and they need a place to express whatever is going on inside of them. And so then their words pour out into paper, and they sort of try to arrange them and make them into something interesting or poetic or beautiful. And I feel like Rupi Kaur, to me, she's not someone who is just trying to be clever or trying to do something interesting with words. That's there is, to me, she kind of feels like one of those poets that is like, she's someone who has she sort of takes her person, and she sort of like pulls back everything, like sort of splits herself open, and she pours things onto paper that are incredibly like honest, that I feel like when I read her poetry, when I read her words, I feel like for me, if I were her, there's a lot of it that I would have been scared to say or not brave enough to put on paper. And so to me, she's somebody who had a need to just be brutally honest about her feelings and her life and her thoughts, and she needed them to be on paper, and she needed to see them and make something out of them. And so to me, that's the kind of that's how I feel when I encounter her words. I feel like I've encountered a woman who is like just pouring herself out onto paper, and you almost get the feeling that there is sort of like some of these like very tragic things that have happened in her life. Like we all have sad things that happens, like heartbreak. For her, it's heartbreak. Just the way she thinks about herself, abuse, like just all kinds of things that she explores. Like she explores a lot of painful things, and then you get this idea that you're on a journey with her, as she is navigating her way through life, like in search of like healing and looking for a way to grow out of those painful places, which I think is really, I mean, to me is really beautiful. It makes me think of, I watched this movie about Mr. Rogers a couple of weeks ago, and in it there was a quote by him that said, what was it? I'm going to mess this up. It was something to the effect of like, anything human is worth mentioning. And to me, like that phrase sort of has this feeling of like, anything that a human goes through is worth mentioning. It's worth talking about. It's worth being allowed to express it, discover it, explore it. It's like, because it's a part of who we are and what makes us human. So, yeah. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are not going to explore one of her poems today. A couple of weeks ago, I watched Rupi Kaur had a live writing workshop with another lady. Her name was Giselle Buchanan, and she is a, what is she? Afro-Caribbean American writer, artist, and workshop coordinator. So these two ladies had a live workshop where they were writing some poetry together and encouraging us to write along with them. And so I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was really fun to listen to them talk about poetry and just their love for words and how powerful they felt like writing poetry was, and for them and for the world. So it was just really cool. They're very inspiring. But they had this exercise that they did that was really fun to watch them do. And I was like, oh, I'd really like to try that. And so I thought maybe we would write along with Rupi and Giselle if you guys would like to do that with me. So her, in this writing workshop, she did this exercise, and it was called, she called it a word bank exercise. And what they did was Giselle gave them 9 words, which are kind of like prompts to sort of like ignite your imagination towards exploring these words in your writing. And so we're gonna do this along with them. They've already done this, but we're gonna do it too, just for fun, to start off our series with Rupi. Okay, so here are the 9 words. I'm gonna go ahead and give them to you. If you want to get a piece of paper, you can write them down and you can do this along with me. Here they are, the first 9 words. All right, surrender, collapse, seed, offering, window, regenerate, open, tender, value. Surrender, collapse, seed, offering, window, regenerate, open, tender, value. And so one of the things she said with this was, don't overanalyze this. These are just prompts, and just start writing. Even if the first thing you write is, I don't know what to write. But just to start writing whatever comes to your mind, to take 15 minutes and just start writing whatever comes out of you and just start playing with it. And she even said, like, if you start and you start playing with these words and you're like, I don't want to do this, I just want to focus on one word, like, go for it. Like, this is your writing exercise. This is for you to play. So don't feel stuck by anything that we're suggesting. Let's see. Okay, so I have not written anything yet at all. So we are going to do this together. I'm actually going to tear this out so I can see the words. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do something. Trying to decide if I'm going to let you guys maybe watch me as I play with writing these words and writing what I want to write down. Except my fingernails are really dirty. I've been digging in my yard. So let me go see. I'm going to go get a different thing and I'm going to let you guys watch me write while I do this. That was interesting. Actually, for me, it went by pretty quickly for me. I think I used all of the words except for one. I did not use the word regenerate. I just didn't really know how to put it in there. But I believe I used all of the rest of them. How did you guys do? Did you enjoy playing with these? I feel like you could do it. You could probably do it a couple of times. Like, I feel like one thing that I like to do sometimes is if I write something or I play with words and I write something and it kind of lets me see, like, you know, what wants to come out, you know, what I'm playing with. Sometimes I'll look at it and then I'll sit on it and think about it, and then if I don't like it, I'll play with it again and rewrite it until I do like it. But I'm not doing that this time. I'm just gonna show you what came out. So this was just, I feel like when I do this kind of writing, it sort of comes out in a like a full, like it starts to have like a rhythmic like flow to it. It's not necessarily like a poem, like where it's got like really good structure. I haven't played with the structure of it at all. It sort of has like a sing-songy, breathy kind of rhythm to it. Anyway, I'll go ahead and read it, and then and what's interesting to me is how different, like when I watched Rupi Kaur and Giselle Buchanan do theirs, I was really amazed at how different their poems were, like what they saw when they saw these words. And it's funny, when I watched their video, which you can go see on Rupi Kaur's page, she has it in her little TV section on her Instagram, if you wanted to go watch it. But when I watched it then, and I was sort of like thinking of a poem in my head, or like what I would write if I were to do it, and I feel like what came to mind was very different than what I've written today. So I feel like it just depends on the day too, like what might come out of you. So this is what I've got. All right. Touch me, don't touch me. All the tender places are not soft, ripened sweetly, full of valuable seeds, but bruised, verge of collapse, house of cards. Don't open the window. Cards, cards, cards. No brick and mortar windows. My security guard, arms crossed, stalking the perimeter, rejecting the wind and the breeze. The only thing between order and chaos, all the people offer to open her, open her, open her, but please don't. So anyway, that is what came out for that one. How do you feel about what came out when you started playing with these words? Like, did it was it easy? Was it hard? Did you find yourself really wanting to like create something very like tight and like very structured? Was that hard for you to get past? And sort of just let yourself pour out with something imaginative? Or did you find yourself drawn to one word? Did you find yourself frustrated by too many words? I don't know. I feel like different personalities probably have a different like some people might have a harder time. Like once you've given some people rules for something, they like very much want to hold tightly to those rules, and then other people just love to break rules, you know. And that was the thing about this, like it gave you a tiny bit of structure, but then it let you do what you wanted. So I'm very curious how people like this. Anyways, I think we're gonna stop there. I think we're just gonna leave it at that for this week. Anyway, we'll see what we do next week with Rupi Kaur. Maybe we will get into exploring some of her poetry. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you again next time.